ladder into a man's arms was a difficult thing to ignore after all. Amelia tilted her head back, easing open one eye to look at her rescuer. His face looked strange upside down. The lips were the wrong shape, and entirely too close. Her other eye snapped open as she met his curious gaze. She'd never seen eyes so blue, didn't even know the shade existed. Oh my. Had she spoken the words, or had her lips simply shaped a puff of air? A single dark brown eyebrow lifted along with the right corner of his lips. Oh my, indeed. Her face pressed against a hard shoulder covered in dark green wool, limiting her view beyond the snow-white cravat. High cheekbones set off the brilliant blue eyes and impeccable hair. Thank you for your assistance. She looked up at the dark panelled ceiling. I believe you can put me down now. Actually, I can't. Amelia's gaze darted back to his face, then followed to where his eyes were pointing. Her feet and skirts were tangled in the rungs of the library ladder, exposing her boots and ankles, proof that impulsiveness led to folly. She couldn't even do someone a good turn without it ending in catastrophe. Visiting her friend Emma had seemed like such a good idea this morning. So did volunteering to help the ill maid with her chores, despite the fact that Amelia didn't know the first thing about being a servant. Not that I mind, the man continued. She grasped the edge of the ladder and, with the man's assistance, heaved herself back into a standing position. After regaining her footing and straightening her skirt, she braved another look at her unexpected companion. He was tall. She could have run her fingers through his thick waves of chestnut brown hair without having to stretch. Not that she would, but she could think about it. The dark coat topped a pair of tan breeches and well-used but expensive riding boots. A patch of white on his shoulder drew her attention. Was that her cleaning rag? Horror filled her as she saw the small streaks of grey on his shoulder, made from the dust she'd been clearing from the massive amount of bookshelves. May I assist you down? No, I rather think I can manage. Thank you. Given the flock of magpies making a home in her midsection, the words came out surprisingly steady. She descended the ladder, plucking the cleaning cloth from his shoulder as she went. A puff of dust drifted into the air. Her backward momentum continued until she'd crossed the room and put her back to the bookcase she'd recently been cleaning. That put 2 tufted leather chairs and a tea table between her and the man between her and the door. Not the smartest maneuvering she could have done. He exuded casual confidence, with one shoulder leaned against the bookshelf and one booted foot propped on the bottom rung of the now vacant ladder. How had he gotten in? A swarm of servants covered the house, preparing for the owner to return in 3 days. Ending his 2-year hiatus from London, a man would have to be very skilled to avoid them all. Or know the house very well. Panic unfurled in her toes and worked its way to her throat as the man's identity became obvious. She was in a room alone with the notorious Raebourne rake. Reputations had been ruined for less. Amelia needed her reputation, or rather her utter lack of one. Her lack of scandal was the only asset she could truly claim if she found herself searching for work after her next birthday. She wove the dust rag through her fingers, twisting into the rough fabric cut into her skin. Lord Raebourne, I presume? He inclined his head in a mock bow. You seem to have the advantage. Good manners opened her mouth to answer his unspoken question. Good sense snapped her teeth shut. He did not need to know who she was. Pushing away from the bookcase, he ran a finger along one still dusty edge. Thank you for cleaning my bookcase. I apologize for interrupting your endeavors. If you require this room, I can finish the job at a more convenient time. The lie burned her throat, but what else could she do? Besides, it was only a partial lie. Someone would return to finish the room, someone actually employed here. Can you? How interesting. He paced forward to lean on one of the tufted leather chairs. When do you intend to do that? Never. At your convenience, my lord. It is your house, after all. He nodded. And you spend a great deal of time in it? I'm usually in the kitchens, my lord.